Hello and welcome to Conquering Mount Scrapmore with Brenda. I'm Brenda and we're here today with another installment of Free Pattern Friday. I am so excited for Fridays. I'm retired. I don't work anymore. I don't know why I'm excited for Fridays, but Free Pattern Friday is always a lot of fun. And today we're going to do a pattern that I've designed called Pushing Out. But first, I would like you to go check out Brita Nelson, and she is the Questioning Quilter. Now her YouTube channel show link is going to be in the show notes below, along with our Facebook group that we would love to have you join if you're into Facebook, because we're voting on our next virtual sew date. We're filming this Boxing Day, so for January. So I don't know when the next one will be, but you know, while we're filming this, but definitely join if you get the opportunity. Then you can have a vote. Now, if we've decided already, there's going to be in the description the day and the time and the Zoom link as to when we're going to have our next virtual sew date. So don't worry, we'll let you know one way or the other. And next, share, like, and subscribe. Also hit that little notification bell. Over half of you are not subscribed that are viewing right now. And we would really like it if you would subscribe to us and let other people know what you're finding here. So come on in. We've got a pattern here we got to share with you that you're going to find in the show notes below as well. So come on in, let's get the sewing done. Okay, here's our pattern. What we're going to need is a rotary cutter, a folding piece of like a magic wand or something like that to, you know, to help fold. Your add a quarter ruler, a cutting mat, of course, your pattern, and I put the pattern in two sizes. One is a 5-inch and one is a 6-inch. So you decide which one you're going to do. The pattern that we ended up creating off of this pattern is a little too pale for most people. So what we're going to do is I'm going to redraw this in black, and then you'll get this picture will be much sharper, so you'll see that in your PDFs below. And last but not least, you need 2 buckets of scraps, and I've crumbs. Now I've picked my low volumes and my blues, so hopefully we're gonna have some fun with this today. Now, on this pattern, okay, I'm gonna show you here. C is color, so you can make it whatever color you want, right? Just because I've decided to go with blue, that works for me, but I mean, you pick whatever scraps you've got, right, for whatever color. You can make it multicolored if you want. And the W is background or whites or whatever you want. There's not a lot, there's only little bits of white. There's only white in like, what, 8 pieces, and the rest of this is colors. So you can have a lot of fun with this very quickly. This is kind of a cute little novelty block. So I'm picking the 5-inch side, and the first thing I'm going to do is get the cutting mat out from underneath the needle, because that would be bad. So I'm going to pick through, and I'm going to quickly grab some white on whites. I'm not gonna, or you know, white light-ish colors, you know, just to be able to get a, you know, a nice little splattering of color going on. Oh, let's take one of these. So I need 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Let's see. 2 beige. 2. Oh, well, I might have to dig a little bit further than I wanted to today. Oh, that's okay. It's about time I go through these bins and harvest out what I can for colors and whatnot, so that's a good thing. 5, 6, 7, 7, and 8. 8, there we go. 8. There, I've got my pieces. I'm good to go. Alright. So now I only have to worry about the blues. Let me just get this out of the way. There. So I've got my 8 pieces of white and the rest are blues. So what I'm going to start with first is I'm going to start working with paler colors, a pale color in the middle. Now I need something a little bigger than this, but that's okay. That looks like, if it went like this, it would be big enough. I'll throw that crumb back in there. And it's probably oversized for what I need, but that's okay. And now you have a choice here. You can balance your block with colors, or you can make it bigger. you know, make a difference, right? So I'm going to go with a little bit bigger. So there we go. Now, so 1, 2, and 3 are all colors. So I want the neutral, the lower purple blue, to be put in the middle, right? So now there's a couple ways you can do this. You can mark this prior as to where your lines are. What line do you have to cover with something as it's called a tracing wheel. Now this tracing wheel has been a godsend because you can mark out very quickly lines of things you want to do. And this is an old trick, by the way, that, you know, and then, you know, it saves you from, if you don't have a bright light or a window in your sewing room, you know, you can, and basically all it's doing is giving you an approximation as to where the lines are, right? And that's quick, because I've just marked now, I've just marked the entire inside, and now I'm going to the outside. And it's just an approximation. Also, too, this helps when you're pulling your fabric off your paper. You know, it kind of is a quick fix. So remember, paper piecing is all about it being upside down. So now you might not be able to see the lines that I've made with that marker, but I can feel them. So what I'm going to do, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do this. I'm going to line them up so I've got a good 1/4 inch over this first line, and then I'm going to sew it. Get all this stuff out of the way. Now I try not to, let me get some of this excess off. Get rid of some of the extra paper that we don't need. Yeah. Okay, so it doesn't matter if you go 1 and 3 first or 1 and 2. I lined this up so it's 1 and 3, and that's okay because it's symmetrical, right? Like, it doesn't matter if line 2 is stitched down because line 3 is stitched. Now, you also want to shorten up your stitch length, right, to make it a little easier. So, okay, and now I'm just going to pull off this stuff. Hang on, get rid of this. And now I'm going to pull off the excess of the blue that I don't need, because I've got some nice lines going on already. Now, I'm going to, this is where you need your add a 1/4 ruler. Now if you're doing smaller things, like multiple small things, get that add an 1/8. I don't do add an 1/8 rulers much. But this little line now goes back into the crumb box. Okay, so now I can either see what I need here and work with that, work with the piece I have, or I can cut into the next piece. And also scoring it with that line helps. It also helps fold your paper, because it makes that paper folding a lot easier. So I'm just going to finish up my triangle here on the one side, so I have that piece all ready to go. And there we go there. Okay, so let's get the other side on. Now I'm joining 1 and 2. Now it doesn't matter that, you know, I sewed it the wrong way, right? It's just, what matters is that it comes together. Okay, so here, now I'm just going to get this down, and my stitches, make sure my stitches are cranked up really good. Alrighty. Here. Now, here. So, here we go. Nice. This is coming together really quickly. Okay, now, so we're just going to finger press this out of the way, right? And now I'm going to get my triangle marked first. And there's some people, what they do is they do all their fold lines first. Which, I mean, if that works for them, that's great, you know. And get this off next. Now this small stuff that I'm cutting off, I will be making pet beds out of. And I'm going to try and do that on a regular day, but I might end up on a free pattern Friday because we've had several requests. So this is what it looks like from the back. This is what it looks like from the front. So now what they're saying is 1, 2, and 3, 4 is here. So we're going to take a little piece of white, and put it here first. Right, so there we go. We got it all lined up, ready to go. So, now the beauty of this block is you can go like from 4 to 5, or you can just pop them open, right? I mean, it's up to you how you want to do them. But you don't have to stitch them. You don't have to have them all stitched in place right away. Okay, get that out of the way. Yeah. There we go. Okay, but we will follow the numbers. We'll try and follow the numbers because I think that's what confuses people, especially if you don't draw your own FPP, foundation paper piecing. It's like these are all of a sudden. Like, why did you cut it like that? Why did you sew it like that? You know, it's like, it's just, you know, the way it is. The way you mark it out, it really does, sometimes it really, truly does not matter. So 6 is a cross. 6 is a cross, so we put it in like this. Sometimes they don't matter. Oops. They do matter, however, if this flips on you. So you have to make sure it's held in place. Good. And make sure it's all lined up. Yes, it is. Okay. There. Yeah, I like foundation paper piecing very much. I find I can get a lot of really odd shapes very quickly, you know. Okay, so I've got a little bit of fun stuff left. I'm just going to pop that there. And it goes down, it goes under the needle, and checked for everything's in the right spot. Excellent. Now you see I'm using black thread so you can see what I'm doing, right? Because otherwise, if I was using whites or blues or, you know, pale gray or something, you might not be able to see it. So this is what it looks like from the back. I know, this doesn't look anything like the front at all. So now, what we're going to do is we are going to trim this all at one time. And this is an easy trim. You just go like this, you pull this down, and you get 2 sides, 2 bits done at once. And then you trim the other side. And I think this is what confuses people when they're doing foundation paper piecing. They're like, okay, I don't get what this looks, why it's supposed to be done this way, or isn't it just easier to, you know, sew odd angles, or, you know, it is and it isn't. I mean, sometimes you want really tiny pieces, and tiny piecing sometimes is easier if you just have them all ready to go. Okay. There we go. Last bit. Okay. There. Now, this is what it looks like from the back. And you can see that, okay? So now let's get some more color out. I want these 2 colors the same. I want these 2 colors the same. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go 8 and 11 and then 9 and 10 and 12 and 13, right? So, but I want these colors the same. Now, do I want them the same color as this blue inside? No, I want them a different blue. And I want them this blue. So that blue is pretty cool. I think that blue works well. Okay, so now I want this blue to be about this wide. There we go. Okay. Now see, I'm just rough cutting this a little big, right? Because that's all I need to do. Now I also need to rough cut this a little big the other way. So that's what I need to do, right? Just like that. That's it. That's how simple this is. So now I'm going to go 8 first, and 8 is on this side. And I want to make sure I'm lining it up on the right 8. Okay, just yes I am. So let's go make sure it's not flipped. Now I want this tipped out of the way because I don't want to sew over it, right? So I want this finger press as best you can. Now there's some people too, when they do their foundation paper piecing, they have a little ironing board right beside them. That is a really good idea, especially if you're new at foundation paper piecing. There we go. There. There. There we go. See, now we can put our bigger pieces of white on the sides, right? So now we're going to flip it over this way, and we're going to do our trimming. Now this looks like a pretty big healthy piece, but that's okay. That can go into a dog bed or a pet bed. I'm not sure if it's a dog or a pet bed I'm making, but yeah. And you just fold them out. I love this pattern because it's quick and easy and so very simple. I haven't done, honestly guys, I haven't done this pattern in a long time, but because it makes a kind of a rectangular thing, but not really. I don't know how to explain it. It's like a, you know, the square in a square, but it's been modified. There. So now we put our white pieces on, and I'm going to start down here and just putting a white piece on this side, and I'm going to line this up nice and neat. There we go. Get all this stuff out of the way so I can sew. There we go. And you follow the line, not the tracing wheel line, because you might have been off a bit when you were putting this in, right? So when you're, you know, because sometimes your tracing wheel doesn't drive straight, I guess. So I want now the other side of this to have the same white, because I don't want them too close together. Okay. All right. Here we go. Flip that over. Yeah. Yeah. I enjoy foundation paper piecing, and I've enjoyed it for many years. My first adventure into paper piecing, now you can put like the pink, see this has got a bit of pinks and greens in it. Now you can play more to this side where it's more white, or you can add a little bit of color. I'm going to leave that this way. I want just a hair of color. Just a bit, not a whole bunch, just a bit. There. I think the blocks, sometimes they look a little bit too blah if they're all white or all, you know. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. You know, they have good contrast and everything, but they're not my favorite block. They're just simply not my favorite block. Maybe we're going to put a teddy bear in here. Let's try and get some color in here. There we go. All right. There we go. There, now, in order to get this all squared up, right, now we could actually go with a bigger piece, but we're just going to do this for now. So 14 and 15, when you're looking at your pattern, 14 and 15, I want being the same color as well. Okay. Now, when it's an edge of something, I want it just a hair bigger. And I'm going to trim out the other two pieces, the other directions as well. Just get that all trimmed up nice. So it's quick and easy to sew before we have to go into the stay stitching on the outside. That's the other thing I love about foundation paper piecing. You stay stitch that outer edge, and you've got a block that doesn't move. There's no bias to worry about. There's no nothing. You take your paper off, and you're good to go. So now 14 and 15 go on before 16 and 17, right? Because they're smaller pieces. And I'm going to make them yet another color. I'm going to make them, I'm going to make them this color. Yeah, that works. Oh yes, that's pretty. There, I'm going to make them that color. Yeah, that'll be nice. Nice change. Okay, so I want them to be about that size. Okay. There, I'll put that there. And we will take at least half of that. So we're going to stitch them on either end. There we go. Just like that. You just rough cut your scraps first. There. There we go. And we've got 2 more pieces and we're good to go. There. And because we cut those other pieces the right size, or right away, now we want to go with more blue and indigos. Yes, we do, because I think that would be pretty. But let's get something a little brighter this time. Let's go a little bit brighter. It doesn't have to be overly bright. Just has to be that kind of in that range. I think that would work. That's going to be very pretty, actually. So I'm just going to lay those down like so. Now see, this is what I mean having scraps that are bigger. You just drop it down and you're off. And erase it. Start outside the block, or outside the seam allowance. And you're sewing. There we go. And there's one side. And now you flip that out of the way. And take the other side. I probably don't need it quite that big. No, I don't. So I'm going to just take a big chunk of it off and throw it back into my crumbs. There. And run it down. There, I'll get the thread on the right side. There we go. And with that, okay, now with that, what we're going to do now, just to get you a quick, okay, I'm just going to finger press this out of the way. Now, if I was doing a good piece, or you know, show quilt or something, I would take the time to press and everything, make sure it's all pretty and nice. But what I'm going to do is, my favorite trick is stay stitching. Now, stay stitching, you run your thread along the middle of the seam. And when you get to the corners, you pivot and you make sure everything's still lying nice and flat. you're inside that seam allowance. And everything's lying still nice and flat. Yay. There we go. Stay stitching, because both of these edges here are all bias, right? So what you'd want, make sure is going to happen now, is that none of this becomes too stretchy, right? Because you don't want stretch in your blocks. That would be bad. Okay, so now there's the block so far. Now we're going to trim it, and then we'll have our big ta-da moment. And you just trim by putting your ruler along the line, just like that. Okay, and you just line it up and get all that stuff out of the way. There we go. There's paper, and okay. And now one more. There. There. And the last piece before we get to the big ta-da moment, and we are good. It looks wonderful. Okay. And there we go. There's our big ta-da. We're going to have our go to our big ta-da moment. So this is our cute little pushing out block. I just think these are adorable. I've done this pattern a couple of times and that I drew up years ago, and I decided, okay, we'll share this one. Now they're basically, I've only given it to you in two sizes, like a 5-inch and a 6-inch finish, or 5.5 or 6.5-inch finish, unfinished. But you know, you can play around with these, and they're just fun. Now I only use blue and white, or for my block, but you can use whatever color. You can mix the colors up too, and it would look just really cute. As long as you've got good contrast between your low volume and your colors, it works wonderful. But if you're going to do multicolor, make sure you have good contrast between your colors. Now this block for me works the best when it's symmetrical colors, right? You use the same colors on the other points, right? Because you got two pushing out this way and two pushing out this way. So as long as you maintain that symmetry, it looks really interesting. But you don't have to. You can use whatever crumbs that you have kicking around. They're a lot of fun. So I hope you enjoyed this Free Pattern Friday. It was fun making this one up for you. It kind of hit me from the past as to where we should be, you know, looking at some of these fun little blocks of mine. Okay, you have an absolutely awesome week. I hope every day is cheerful for you, and you come back and join us on our Mondays and Thursdays. Share, like, subscribe with your friends, and hit that little notification button. Okay, you take care. Bye! My husband and I would love to thank you for coming along with us on our quilting journey and the YouTube adventure that we're on. We have some wonderful plans for 2023. And it includes a lot more, like with the Facebook group and the rooms feature and sewing and hanging out with people. Those monthly Zoom sew dates are still in the works. We have a lot of fun ideas coming up for 2023. And we hope you share, like, and subscribe with your friends. That little notification button and subscribing to us really helps us out. Commenting helps us out too. So if you like what you're seeing, let us know. Even send us a heart on the comment. That helps so much for us. Okay, you have an absolutely fabulous 2023, and all of our best wishes for you in the future. Okay, take care. Bye.